So this is one discussion I did not expect to have. A concept when it comes to Super Dragon Ball Heroes. Usually I will make a preview or breakdown video when it comes to a preview for the upcoming episode. But other than that, I really don't make that many discussions about Super Dragon Ball Heroes. But I think this whole situation with Goku and this new level of control when it comes to Ultra Instinct has merited its own conversation, quite frankly. People just been going nuts over this. So the obvious response to that is, oh, this is nothing more than a promotional anime with a heap of fan service, so it's nothing to be taken too seriously, which I agree with you. However, I think the most important aspect of this is just because it's fan service, it is catching people's attention. People going nuts over us, wondering what the hell's going on here. So I'll try to break it down the best I can, and it's because at the end of the day, whether it's a new different title or not, it's still Dragon Ball. It's just a shorter, condensed version of it. Obviously, the anime studio is the same. It's Toei Animation, the same studio that's in charge of Dragon Ball Super, which are being very, very hush-hush about whether or not we'll get actually an anime continuation. But it is produced by different people. When it comes to Dragon Ball Heroes, it's produced by Hiroyuki Sakahara. One person is in charge of laying this stuff out when it comes to Super Dragon Ball Heroes. The Ultra Instinct form that Goku was emitting at the end of Episode 9, it kind of makes you realize, or makes you ask the question, is this a contradiction to Master Ultra Instinct now? If you can tap into that at will, what is the use for Master Ultra Instinct? The whole purpose of that was to not have any hesitation. It had to be the most evolved and complete form of Ultra Instinct. At least that was according to Whis. So I'm gonna try to break it down the best I can. A lot of people trying to figure out what's going on here. So I'm obviously not the only one to make this discussion or theory about what's going on, but I hope you guys enjoy what it is. Really, anything is possible in Super Dragon Ball Heroes. I mean, there's so many stuff that hasn't been produced in the PR anime yet. It's crazy. You have Super Saiyan 4 Time Breaker Broly, which a lot of people don't even know about when it comes to casuals. You have Super Saiyan 4 Gohan, which you don't even know about. So it's just stuff like that. And I'll give you a prime example. That's something that we've seen in Dragon Ball Heroes, but they could have expanded upon, but they didn't. And it wouldn't have been a contradiction at all. So we saw Super Saiyan Blue, Kaioken, Vegito, right? Well, who's to say we would have seen Super Saiyan 4 Xeno Goku because it's the same character, it's just a different continuity? Who's to say we wouldn't have seen Super Saiyan 4 using Kaioken? I think that would have been pretty dope. But you get my point. That could have been the case. And it's exactly what Heroes have done, what Hiroyuki Sakahara has done with Ultra Instinct. It's not a contradiction, at least I don't think it is, and I'll explain why. But for the most part, we do kind of have to explain what's going on with Dragon Ball Super. Obviously, Goku's Ultra Instinct mode is the strongest form. Knowing how to dodge without actually thinking about it, that's what Whis was mentioning to Goku and Vegeta back in the day. In the early stages of Dragon Ball Super, Goku at the episode 110, he finally triggered Ultra Instinct on the Spirit Bomb. And according to Whis, only specific circumstances can emit this type of change in Goku. We saw it with Jiren twice, we saw it with Kefla. And the Kefla fight was a pretty good example of what we could expect. When it comes to like offense type stuff from Goku, we saw a bit of it, but he couldn't maintain it. And after he went back to normal, so he could not maintain the form. I think that's what caused that maintain the form. Here in episode 9, he looks perfectly relaxed. And I mentioned this in my review. The difference between night and day and the level of control is so more disciplined now. Try to break it down the best we can. And then later on in episode 129, at the end, Goku will evolve further into Master Ultra Instinct, and according to Beerus and Whis, that's the pinnacle, okay? But what Heroes have done, and they're taking a form that was previously considered to be Ultra Instinct, obviously own Ultra Instinct. I think we all agree, as of right now, that's pretty much the form he's exuding when he's using this new level of control. This part we can agree. And it's not a contradiction yet, at least I don't think so. Because we haven't seen him use Master Ultra Instinct, and I have my reasons to why. But in order to explain that, you kind of have to go back into the past and explain certain concepts that we've seen like this. Let's start off with Dragon Ball Z, DBZ, right? During the Cell Games, during the training, before the tournament, right? Goku and Gohan in the Hyperbolic Time Chamber, or the Room of Spirit of Time, however you want to pronounce it, they were training to control the Super Saiyan modes without burning the energy supply, right? That was the whole concept. they can go Super Saiyan and live a casual life. That's what Goku and Gohan trained to do. They found a way to do that. Only after that, they said to not damage the energy supply or not burn themselves out, but if they needed to, they can go higher. And that was Vegeta's explanation when Goku was powering up for Koran, and you have the rest of the Z fighters sensing what was going on here. So that's the first example. Okay, so if this is a Master Ultra Instinct form, and if he's actually found a way to control this, trigger Ultra Instinct, why didn't he go into Master Ultra Instinct? Well, I think it's because, in order to explain that, remember what happened after he used the form against Jiren, right? What happened? It had a drawback. Goku was burned way too much, and it took a toll on his body. It had a negative effect on Goku's body. We didn't really see that in Dragon Heroes after his fight with Kumba, but we cannot assume he went back to base. He wasn't able to maintain the form. And we know Ultra Instinct takes a lot of energy from Goku. So my first point to this is, what if Goku has found a way to actually tap into Ultra Instinct, but the higher he goes, the more strain it takes? Maybe that's a concept. So it would not be a surprise, and it doesn't really change what Heroes has done here. It's just a new form of control with this new level of power. But it is a concept that's familiar, especially when it comes to DBZ fans. You know what you guys think about that. The second example comes in the form of the Goku Black Zamasu arc. Goku learning how to use Mastered Super Saiyan Blue. Obviously, Master's purpose of that was to contain the ki that's emitting the usually Goku emits once he goes to that Super Saiyan Blue form, and contain it within his body so it becomes even stronger. So it's more refined, more mastered. That's the concept of Super Saiyan Blue. At this point in time, we've only seen 2 minutes of Goku squashing Oren Vegeta, so there's not enough evidence to support that. However, look at Goku's form. You don't see any aura, right? At least when he's in this form. He's using the aura when he's attacking, but not when he's just standing his ground, right? So that's the difference we've not seen Goku use in this mode. So what if Goku's using that concept for Master Super Saiyan Blue and relying onto Omen Ultra Instinct? At this point in time, we have not seen Goku go Master Ultra Instinct. I don't know what's to come in episode 10. It could be a whole... I could be wrong about this, but I'm pretty confident in what's happening right now. There's so many things that need to get explained and could be explained. There's so many interesting things to discuss when it comes to Heroes. I mean, you got the whole Few and Core situation. They decided to kick them out of this arc, so they won't be on the sidelines that they were in Prison Planet arc. So there's so many different things that you need to explain, like where's Pew's backstory coming from, and unless you actually follow Xenoverse 2 and follow that DLC story, you're not going to know where the origin of Few comes from, into where Orin and came from, and that's kind of surprising because they don't usually do this to the Sephorian siblings or the genetically created fighters from the Sephorians, and we got origins to what was going on, why they resent them so much, and why they're a part of 4 area warriors, right? And Kumba, another character we know nothing about. However, we know he's the Saiyan. We know he's familiar with the Super Saiyan God. We just don't know how. Is he referring to Yamoshi when he says he's familiar with that form? Possibly, but we don't know. So there's different concepts like that, and the only hint we've got about that he's wearing the same type of armor as the rest of the Quiet Area Warriors, and we can assume he was with them from before he went to the Prison Planet, right? So Goku's using the Master Ultra Instinct. He's not burning any energy. From what I can see, he's pretty calm, cool, and collected. He's not struggling to use an attack like he was against Kefla. You saw how he used the air to attack Kefla, and after that he was struggling to maintain control because he couldn't do it. That's just how he thought. He couldn't have any doubts. So that's what Ultra Instinct comes into. So what if Goku could tap into Master Ultra Instinct, but decided not to? And if he can trigger it by will, that would explain things because it takes more of a toll on his body, and his level of control is at an all-time high. Maybe he doesn't need to go Master Ultra Instinct. Well, maybe he just doesn't need it right now. We'll see. But these are just my thoughts. Again, not much you can really incorporate when it comes to 2-minute squash, what we saw in episode 9. But either way, I hope we get more answers in episode 10. That's just my opinion. Let me know yours in the comments below. That's going to do it for today, guys. Thank you guys so much for watching. Like this video if you did. Let me know your thoughts, what you think about this new form of control when it comes to Ultra Instinct Goku or Grand Preist Goku. Subscribe channel for more Dragon Ball Heroes, and I'll catch you guys later. Thanks guys, bye.